It took me a really long time to learn fillet welds. I got frustrated and I wanted to learn them as nice as other people I had seen. So today I'm going to show you 3 things I wish I was taught by a pro when I was first learning. My name is Dusty and I'm a welding artist from Vancouver Island, Canada. On my YouTube channel, it is my mission to teach and show off the possibilities of TIG welding. And I want to show it to all the positive people in the welding industry who love TIG welding as much as I do. So join me for my mission on my channel and let's get welding. This is Pacific Arc TIG Welding. Hello ArcHeads, welcome to another episode and welcome to part 1 of my episodes specifically on fillet welds. This is going to be dope. So I want you to listen to what I'm about to tell you here. When I first started practicing TIG welding, I practiced a lot. I would practice through coffee breaks at work. I practiced after hours. I would come in early to the shop and practice before anybody even got there. All in the name of getting some torch time in whenever I could. And I started to get a little bit of an understanding to some of the basic stuff. But let me tell you, when I first started working on the fillet weld, I basically ran into the equivalent of a brick wall with my progression. As a matter of fact, as I started to get more and more frustrated, I almost got worse at TIG welding. Even all the stuff I already knew how to do, it's like the more I practiced this joint, the more frustrated I got and the worse I got at everything overall. With the amount of time and work I was putting into practicing and I was getting worse, how is this possible? The frustration somebody can feel at this point is horrible. And as a matter of fact, when I see people run into this wall of frustration, this is usually the point that a lot of people quit. But obviously, I didn't quit. I figured out a couple things that eventually were gonna help me out, and I finally got over the hurdle and into some real progression. So funny enough, when I started teaching people how to weld this joint, I started to realize they were running into the same problems that I was getting stuck on. But because I had already been through it, I was able to help them out. And showing them a few tricks I had learned along the way, able to get them through it a lot faster. So if you're looking to master this one, some of these tips are gonna help you out. So the first tip I'm going to go over today is going to be the position that you weld it in. So let me ask you off the top, what's the most natural way someone's going to position this one when they go to weld it? That's right, most people are going to put it in the 90-degree position. This is great and all, because most of the time you actually do this, you're going to be welding it in this position. However, we are just getting started with this one. So in doing so, we're just kind of making it more difficult for ourselves to learn. The reason that this is going to be more difficult for us is because now we have a high side and a low side. So basically now we have 2 different surface levels we have to deal with. We will have a high side, which definitely behaves a certain way. And obviously we have a lower side, which is going to be more affected by gravity. So obviously both sides are going to behave completely differently from one another. So when we first start learning this one, let's make it a little easier on ourselves. So what I find helps most people is instead of positioning it at a 90-degree angle, we're gonna position it at a 45-degree angle. You could build one of these things here, it may help you out a lot. As you can see, this super high-tech device I've made here is made with 3 welding coupons. The first thing I did was tack 2 of them together in a 90-degree angle, then tilt it on a 45-degree angle, and then I'm gonna weld it with a couple tacks to the flat piece, which will sit flat on the table. So now, instead of having our fillet joint wobbling around on the table all awkward like, we can now put the workpiece into the jig and clamp the jig to the table. Pretty smart, huh? So welding this joint in a 45-degree position is now going to create 2 sides that behave essentially the same as one another. So we no longer have one side that's going to be more affected by gravity. So this will give us a lot less details to pay attention to until we fully get a feel for this joint. We can begin by focusing on the most basic stuff, like the sides of our leg lengths, stepping consistency and stepping distance, and filler rod amount. Do you see how this is going to be much easier to learn now? So after learning about this leads me to the second thing that gives people the most problems, and that is bad sight lines and difficulty seeing clearly. This joint is notoriously difficult simply because the visibility with it sucks. Sometimes no matter how you position it, when you're first learning it, it's always tricky to get a good line of sight and see it clearly. And then on top of that, you add in the factors of filler rod angle, standoff distance, stepping consistency, and a ton of other things you gotta watch for. So when you're first starting to learn, not only do we have to pay attention to all of these things, but now you take away one of the most important things to us, and it's one of the biggest things that I stress to people when I'm teaching them, and that detail is being able to see clearly. So if you've watched any of my episodes before, you know how much importance I place on having proper posture and being able to see clearly. I did an episode right here. Check this one out. I go over some of these things I'm talking about in much greater detail. So if you have not seen this one before, pop back. It's gonna help you out a lot with these details. If you have seen it, jump back, refresh your memory on it. So when I am teaching people, whether in person or online in my online training program, these are the biggest and most important things I teach them. When we are learning this joint for the first time, practicing it in a 45-degree angle gives you the opportunity to see way more clearly. You will still have a bit of a tricky time getting the same sight lines that you would normally welding on a flat piece of plate, but you will have a much better chance of seeing properly with it positioned in a 45-degree angle as opposed to a 90-degree angle. Have your hands comfortable and well supported. And before you even arc on, make sure you can travel comfortably the distance that you need to travel. Position your head in an area where you will be able to maintain proper visibility as you get into the pass. So remember, proper posture, hand comfortability, and good visibility. Take even one of these things out of the mix, and you're gonna make learning this much more difficult for yourself. Now, the third thing that most people skip over when learning this joint is when you first get ready to learn this one, is skipping proper tacking exercises. Listen, when people go to learn this joint and I ask them to tack it up properly before starting to run full welds on it, I usually get pictures back from my students that look something like this. As you can see here, each tack is rather unorganized as far as its placement goes. We see leg lengths that are perhaps uneven and not well blended into the base material. Sometimes we see an inadequate amount of filler or excessive amounts of filler rod. All things that we are gonna have to deal with later when you go to run full passes over top of them. So let me ask you something. If you were gonna run a consistent, straight, and organized pass, how are you gonna make everything look this way when you have to weld over crazy and uneven tacks? Not possible. Even after years of doing this joint a million times myself, I'm gonna have a really tough time getting things done perfectly, have each pass look the same as one another, if I have to weld over some bullshit tacks. When I ask my students to send me photos of their tacking exercise, each tack has to be placed as perfectly as the full pass that they plan on putting over top of it. Seriously, I probably work way more on this tacking exercise with my students than you probably think I should. But in doing so, it's gonna lay the groundwork perfectly so that we do not have anything to contend with when we go to do our full passes. Makes sense, right? Position your joint in a way you can see things clearly. Position your hands and body in a way so you can see everything even better, and have a joint that's properly prepared and having all of the details we want to see when doing the full pass. This is all the most important theory stuff I can go over with someone before sending them off to fully weld out this joint. In part 2 of this breakdown on the fillet weld, I'm gonna rip a demo on this one that's gonna be really thorough so you can have a good look at how a lot of these details play out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that annoying bell thing everybody always asks you to do so that when I post that video, you don't miss part 2. This one's gonna be good, I promise. All the true ARC heads out there who watch the show every week, we're gonna do something new here. If you're a true ARC head, in the comments below, I want you to drop a dime. Look in your emojis or whatever, there's a coin or something in there that kind of looks like a dime. Drop one of those in the comment below and you're in the club. You're living that dime life with me. So this joint is gonna take practice. Learning this one is difficult, but these tips are absolutely gonna help speed up some of the process for you. And when I drop part 2 of this episode, hopefully it's gonna help you out a lot more as well. So check this next episode in the meantime. That one's gonna help you out with posture and all that. It's gonna give you even more game on how to have better comfort and better visibility for welding. Stay tuned and hit the reminder for part 2 of this episode. Go out today, do a random act of kindness for a stranger. It's the only thing I ask for in exchange for what you have learned here today. For Pacific Arc TIG Welding, my name's Dusty. Fill and chill, we'll talk soon. Peace.